everyone, Anya here at ourgabled.home.com, and I quickly wanted to make this video really since a friend just recently asked me about cast iron care. And if you are new to cast iron, or if you have been intimidated by cast iron, or if you're just not quite sure how you can simplify your cast iron care routine, this video really is for you. Because here at Our Gabled Home, we don't like anything that's complicated or involves too many steps. And so it has to be simple, it has to be easy, and it has to be uncomplicated. And cast iron is just one of those things. And I want to show you my routine that could not be easier. So the first thing to know about cast iron is that it's really sturdy and rugged, and it's the workhorse in the kitchen. I want to say that 95% of the time I use my cast iron skillets for frying, for sauteing, for anything that I'm making. I use it for baking pies. It can go from the stovetop right to the oven, and there really is almost nothing that you cannot do with cast iron skillets or cast iron pots. However, a little bit of care will make sure that you get the most out of your cast iron. And as you may have heard, cast iron is prone to rust, but it will only rust if it is in contact with moisture, water, for a prolonged time. And that is why some people actually prefer to keep their cast iron skillets on the stovetop, because they use them so often it's almost not worth putting them away, and also it's airy, it's dry, and they can just sit there. However, if you have more cast iron skillets like I do, I have an entire wall that my husband built for my cast iron skillet collection, then you don't necessarily need that. So when I make something, so let's start with when you buy a cast iron cookware. Typically, when you buy it, it comes pre-seasoned. I'm not gonna go into how you can season your cast iron cookware if it has worn off, or if you want to re-season it, that's another video. But I will talk about the everyday care. So it should come pre-seasoned, and all you do is when you're ready to make something, and especially if you're looking for that non-stick feature of the cast iron, I simply put it on the stovetop and heat it up. You want it to have an even heat, so it takes a while. It's pretty heavy. It is cast iron, so you want it to have an evenly distributed heat in the actual skillet. And then I add my oil. I often do olive oil just because we like the taste. Some people recommend not using olive oil because it doesn't have a very high smoke point. You can use avocado oil, you can do lard, or animal-based fats. And then I let that also heat up before I add whatever I'm gonna fry up in the cast iron skillet. And then when you add something to it, you want to make sure to let it sit in there and not turn it. It can be tempting, so you have to maybe use patience to leave it alone, because then it will truly be nonstick and it will actually come off easily after a while, and you can simply flip it and you don't even have to scrape it off. So that is what I do. And then when I'm done making my dish, all I do really is I try to clean my cast iron pretty quickly. Not right away, I mean, sometimes I do it after dinner. And I take it and simply run it under hot water. I haven't used soap, even though Lodge, the company that made this cast iron skillet, recommends or says you can totally use one little squirt of dish soap. I don't feel I need it. Mostly what I do is I use this very simple wooden natural dish brush, and I scrub it out. Sometimes when there's bits and pieces really caked on, I am using these plastic scrapers by Lodge. I'll link the sources for these in the description box below this video. And I can just go ahead and scrape out little bits and pieces that may have caked on. And that's all I do. I simply, under running hot water, I scrape it out, brush it out. And then it's wet, I'll let it drain over my sink. Bring it back to my stovetop, and because we have a gas stove, it's really easy. I simply turn on the gas stove until my entire skillet is completely dry. Now then I take a piece of kitchen paper towel and just one little drop of avocado oil and moisten the inside of the skillet and oil it. And it has to be a very thin layer. I let it cool down and then it goes back on the wall rack. And that's all there is. I do that all the time. I can tell you that cast iron gets better the more often you use it. So go ahead and use it. And the more often you use it, the better it will get. And then every so often you may or not have to re-season it. The only thing that I have heard that can actually do something to the coating there that you want is tomatoes or something acidic. I once made a apple pie in this cast iron skillet, so you can see that there's a little bit unevenness here on the inside, and that's okay because I keep on seasoning it and putting oil on after every use. So I'm not worried about it, and it hasn't lost its non-stick features, but it's really, I love it. The only thing that I could say, yeah, it can be a little bit heavy, so sometimes you need two hands to carry it from the stovetop to the dining table, but other than that, it is really my preferred cookware of choice. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new on my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I upload a new video every week. You can also turn on the bell notifications so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen, and see you next time.